Hello and good morning, and welcome to the Morning Metro. It is May 29th, 2017, and my browser just refreshed our morning intro. That's okay. We are, of course, your hosts, Gert21 and Gertron, and special guest, Ethic Meta. Welcome to the show.
Hello.
So, so how is everybody this morning?
Oh, well, it's a great day, you know. It's all...
Yes, we will having a new feature of the show. We'll be having sound effects apparently. So I'm just gonna pause our intro music and stuff. But I'm fine myself. I'm kind of tired a little bit, as you know, kind of like per my usual thing and stuff. We're gonna go ahead and just jump right into the show. But before we do, today is of course Veterans Day, where we honor our the people who have served in our country and stuff, to which we owe an absolute great service to. So we would actually like to start the show by playing taps through the show, and we would ask that if you guys are in chat, if you would please remain silent in the chat for about a minute or two while we play this and stuff, and just take a minute to just sort of reflect on the people who have given up so much to protect, especially the U.S., our borders, and allow people like us to do stuff like this, freely and everything. So, Gertrude, if you have that piece, I'll be showing our American flag and stuff. So, if you would hold off on your follows and your comments for just about a minute or so, and then we'll come right back and do the show. You got that ready? That content ready, Gertrude?
Yep.
All right.
Channel edited. Channel edited.
Thank you. Okay, so we're gonna go ahead and jump back and do our show. That was very very slobbery, actually. I'm gonna be honest. So so we're gonna go ahead and introduce our guest here. Ethic Meta is a Twitch streamer. Actually, crud, I'm jumping ahead of myself again. Okay, so before I do that, so I've been talking at the end of the show and stuff about article submission to you guys, and I've been getting a couple different articles from different sources and stuff myself, but we would really, really love it if you guys could actually email us, because we've got an official Morning Metro email, and the email address is themorningmetro@gmail.com. You can send us videos, articles. We ask, of course, to be family-friendly content, obviously, like what you guys are used to us talking about on the show and everything. But if you have any articles and you would love to have us talk about it, rant about it, whatever and stuff, please email us, and we will, in your article, might get on the show. So, all right, well, anyway, so now we can introduce Ethic Meta. Okay, so hello, and again, welcome to the show and everything. So go ahead and tell us a little bit about yourself, what you do, and all that kind of and such.
So my name is Ethic Meta. I'm a streamer. I've been streaming since it's been a couple years. I started a couple years ago. I stopped, and I started back up again this April. I'm a community leader. We created the FOR, Field of Regard community in Arma.
Okay.
This was about 6 years ago, before DayZ was a thing. We were running this community, and I've gone through every stage of it, from initial growth to plans for the future. I spend a lot of my time on my computer. Professionally, I'm a programmer. Currently in the financial industry, but I'm moving over into pharmaceuticals.
I'm sure Gertrude can relate to that, definitely.
Yes. I work for an insurance company, basically dealing with pharmaceuticals.
Okay. All right. Cool. Now, when we had talked a little bit before the show, I think actually was about a week ago or so, and that's when I said about we thought we were going to have you on the show last week, and we didn't. You mentioned you actually have lived in a couple different places. So where have you lived and stuff, and where do if you don't mind talking about where you live now, that'd be pretty cool.
Yeah, sure. I grew up, born and raised in Lancaster, California, which is Southern California, just outside of LA, and all over the places in terms of where in Lancaster. I moved to Quartz Hill and Palmdale, just that whole area.
Okay.
And I met my wife online about 7 years ago. And I ended up moving out to Kansas, where she lived.
Okay.
And we got married shortly after that. But when I moved out here, a lot of my family came with me. And so we stayed in Hutchinson, which is a small, tiny town in Kansas, for a couple of years. And then me and my wife moved to where we live now, which is Wichita. And in that time that we've lived in Wichita, we've done a lot of travel. The last place we went was Seattle. That is our end goal, is to live in Seattle. But as of right now, I'm thinking we're transitioning closer to Kansas City because the work is just amazing.
Okay.
So many opportunities.
Very cool. Awesome. So let's see here. What got you into streaming? And also, can you talk a little bit about what you do in the Twitch subreddit as well?
So we'll start with the Twitch subreddit because that kind of got me into why I went back to streaming. I'm big on Reddit and found the Twitch subreddit and just attached to the support side of it. I really enjoy helping people.
Okay.
So I'm always on the Twitch subreddit. I'm always on the Twitch subreddit's Discord, constantly answering questions and just hanging out with the community. Originally, what got me into streaming was actually the gear. Like, I love audio gear. I love the setup. I love the lighting, the green screen, all that stuff. So it's a lot of fun.
Okay. Very cool. And then what was the other? Let's see. So basically those two questions kind of tie into each other about what got you into it then and everything, correct?
Yep.
All right, cool. Let's see. What else do you do besides Twitch streaming and such?
So I'm a programmer, so that's a lot of what my time is outside of here is developing software, applications, utilities, all that stuff. I also contribute to open source because I just feel like I'm helping even more doing that. I also try to get rock climbing in whenever I can.
Nice.
Rock climbing. That can be dangerous.
Yeah, we have an indoor climbing gym in the city.
Oh, well, that's awesome.
Yeah, it's good fun. Top rope and bouldering. It's all
wow.
good.
Very, very cool. Well, that's awesome. Well, I'm definitely glad that you're on the show today, and yeah, that's cool that you're able to do so much of that stuff, and I can definitely relate. Just the community's based around Twitch. We're actually going to be talking a little bit about that later in the show and stuff, but very cool information. Thank you for sharing. And I'm going to go ahead and put you on the spot. If you would actually go ahead and take our first article of the morning. Awesome.
Nuclear launch detected.
Yes, definitely nuclear. Go ahead and talk about this Ethic Meta if you wouldn't mind.
Yeah, so it's not necessarily current events so much as relevant to the current topics going around in terms of nuclear armament and whether or not we should increase or decrease that stockpile and nuclear energy in general. It was brought up in the technology subreddit by user Magnum with regard to Canada's nuclear reactors, which can and do run on retired nuclear weaponry. What makes it unique is that it's able to run on unenriched uranium.
Okay. Because I think enriched uranium, I think usually has what a lot of the metals and stuff in it that, as I recall reading in here, talking about like the heavy water that's in it because of all the amount of chemicals and stuff that gets dumped into that and such. So that basically what makes the runoff from it less, I guess I want to say less dirty, I suppose.
Yeah, it's also extremely cost efficient. To enrich uranium is extremely expensive, and so when we're using refuse, obviously, and from my personal opinion, things that we want to get rid of, it's just fantastic. Like, I couldn't be happier with this kind of technology, and it appears that it is expanding. These reactors specifically are all over the world.
Mm-hmm.
My only problem with nuclear reactors is if there's ever some sort of a nuclear meltdown.
Oh gosh.
The damage it can cause is extensive.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
So, while it is a good idea to be using nuclear energy because that is a good source of energy, and it gets rid of some of the stuff we want to get rid of. It's just, if you're going to use it, make sure you put it somewhere where if it does have a meltdown, it's going to cause less trouble.
Mm-hmm, definitely.
In my opinion.
Yeah, and so much of I know we sort of are in we're in an age of wanting to have reusable energies and stuff, and this is really cool that Canada is sort of, I would say, almost like sort of setting the example of having renewable energies and stuff. And this could be like other countries will see this and be like, oh yeah, this could be a model for how we, handle our nuclear energy and stuff. So, of course, we have things like solar, which unfortunately are not as efficient, but definitely still just safer. A little bit safer, but not as nearly as effective as nuclear or maybe like coal energies and stuff. But that's cool that they're able to figure out a way to sort of, I guess you want to say, like refine some of that stuff and use it very effectively. Yeah, refurbish nuclear power. So, but speaking of...
we know how refurbished computers work out. You never know what kind of problems they have.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, of course, yeah. I also have a quick little tech thing. I'm really sorry, guys, if the stream's lagging. My processor is, like, not happy with me right now. Between doing a capture for Appear In and running OBS, encoding all that, my computer's like, I hate you right now. So I'm sorry if it's a little bit behind, but hopefully the show's still enjoyable anyway. I gotta work out some tech stuff after stream. This should be interesting. Speaking of just usable energy and long-lasting energy. Okay, now this next article makes it sound like that this person accidentally discovered this, but I rather think it was intentional. A student from the where's my notes here? Did I actually put? I didn't put notes. Okay, then that was the one I was supposed to be reading off the directly from the article. So this is from Upworthy.com, which I've never even heard of until today, actually. But a student from the University of California, Irvine, discovered a way to make a battery that lasts 400 years, which is that is
multiple lifetimes.
That is multiple lifetimes, yes. So she was able to mix, and I should have put notes, but I'll go ahead and just read this. Team researchers at UCI had been experimenting with nanowires for potential use in batteries, but found that over time, the thin, fragile wires would break down and crack after too many charging cycles. So if you guys ever noticed, actually, and I even watched a video about this, how that the reason why computers and stuff sort of slow down after a while is because it's the amount of the electrical ions can actually cause microfractures in the architecture of the circuitry and stuff, which is why people are like, oh, my computer's getting slow. Well, it's not that it's getting slow. It might just be that the solder joints are getting weaker and stuff. But one day on a whim, I think you pronounce her name Thai. Is it Thai or Thai? How do you pronounce that, Gertrude? Kind of confused about
pronouncing.
Miley Thai, okay. Coated a set of gold nanowires in magnesium dioxide and oh man, I don't even know how to pronounce some of this stuff. Was it plexiglass, like a electro gel. She started to cycle these gel capacitors, and that's when we got a surprise. She said this thing has been cycling 10,000 cycles and it's still going. She came back a few days later and it's been cycling for 30 cycles. That
30,000 cycles.
30,000. Thank you. 30,000 cycles that kept going for a month. And it just goes on to say about just the fact that the amount of recharge cycles this thing's able to produce. The average laptop battery lasts between 300 to 500 cycles, and the nano battery developed at UCI made it 200,000 cycles in 3 months. So that's substantial right there. That is a huge breakthrough in batteries. Because go ahead if you want to.
No more buying batteries every couple of years.
Yeah, I mean that's like crazy because my phone. Okay, on an average, I can usually get about a day's charge out of my phone, and when it gets to around 29 to maybe even 20%, the phone's like, hey, you've got about a day's charge. That's and so. But the fact that a battery that could last that long would be incredible.
Yeah,
and
it's talking about specifically the power cycles means how recharge times, not necessarily the duration that the battery lasts, but how many times you can fully deplete and fully recharge it. So the 200,000 cycles is 200,000 full recycles.
Okay. So they basically had to drain it and then charge it and then drain it again and charge. Okay, I see where you're going with that. Yeah. Okay, that makes sense. So, but that's very, very cool. I would love to one day. Now, the problem is, and we talked about this last week on the show. These really cool, technologies are being developed, but the issue then becomes that the production that has to go into that, the money that has to be spent on that. Nobody got time for that. Exactly. So I mean, there's just so much that goes into that. So my question would be, are they gonna be willing to put in the money and the time to develop the technology, or is this gonna be one of those things that just sort of ends up in the patent office and never makes it into full grade production?
I find your lack of faith disturbing.
So what do you guys, apart from jokes aside, what are some of your theories about this?
But seriously, both of those, nobody has time to go through that hard work. But I do find our lack of faith disturbing. At some point it will go out there, but the question is, will money hungry big bosses be like, no.
Yeah.
Why would we sell you one battery that's going to last you multiple lifetimes when we could sell you several hundred batteries over the course of a year?
Right, because that also means that will sort of jeopardize the battery market in a way, because you're thinking about the fact that who's going to buy laptop batteries anymore? Who's going to buy AA batteries? I actually have to buy some AAAs at some point in time because I actually need them for a couple things. But that's it. Kind of. I can see where it does jeopardize a market, but at the same time, there's this fine line balance between the quality of the product and the production of the product and what you're yielding in the long run. They could charge a lot for it, but they get a happy customer that's a customer for life because they got something that they needed or wanted. So. I'd say I would really like to hope that they would put this into production, and we can have really awesome batteries. So
now, right now you can buy an average laptop battery, or this also works for if you're just talking about your normal like AA batteries and whatnot. But since we're talking about laptop batteries here, average laptop battery is going to cost you anywhere from $20 to $100, depending on how advanced you get. I've seen them go up to a lot more than that.
Wow.
But I would imagine if they actually put a battery out there that's able to last 400 years, they're probably going to put a really hefty price tag on that.
Oh yeah.
And it's going to have to be a computer. Most likely, it's going to have to be a computer that you intend on using for your entire life.
Exactly. Yeah.
So that's my concern: is at what point does the feasibility of a 400-year lasting battery encounter diminishing returns? Who's going to use a battery that lasts 400 years? Like, do consumers actually need a battery that lasts 400 years?
I mean, I would say my first inclination would say yes, because look at how often we're used. I could see it more so used maybe in smartphones.
Yeah, in smaller ways. Smartphones maybe actually having, your AA's, AAA's, those kind of batteries set up to be able to last that long. Because those, I mean, you're most likely going to be using those for a long time anyways.
Right.
Sure, but 400 years?
Well, definitely not 400 years, unless,
That's my
give it down to your
concern, is
grandkids.
we're
Here,
selling-
I'm going to pass these batteries down to you.
I could understand the use in industry or infrastructure or something, but for consumer electronics, to have something that lasts that long, the lifetimes, you're talking at this point whether or not you will your battery to your children or your children's children.
You're right. Yeah, I can see where I can actually see that point. It's like, well, Daddy's will said you willed me these batteries.
Oh my.
So I mean, that's and I could see, and actually even more so, one place I could see it being used actually is in military specifically. Because they have a lot of high-end equipment that has to last for, imagine if they went on several-day missions. Imagine how much longer those laptops that they use, the radios that they use, could have this revolutionary battery that could actually be very helpful to them. It means they don't have to be near a wall outlet or at their base for several days, actually. And that makes them even more mobile, makes them less dependent on energy from a solid source.
Now, remember, it's not talking about duration; it's talking about recharge.
Well,
exactly.
Yeah,
exactly.
But,
the battery, if it only lasts you 10 minutes and you got to go recharge it again, then
true.
I
don't know.
But,
I mean, it's fun to theorize it, at least what the potential, if nothing else, could be. That's what I kind of find interesting is just the potential of it. So I don't know. That's just me theorizing and stuff, but yeah. So, all right, cool. Well, we're gonna segue out of our technology and talk about some entertainment news. So, Ethic, would you please go ahead and talk about this movie?
Yes. Aliens. They are capable of sinister and dangerous acts.
Alien Covenant. Holy crap. I'm a huge fan of the Alien series, and I was really excited for this, especially when when Prometheus first came out. There was suggestions that perhaps this was a prequel as an origin story for aliens, and after the movie came out, it was confirmed that yes, this is part of an origin story. So I was really excited for Alien Covenant because it's supposed to be a follow-up of that movie. Let's see. One second.
Just showing a little bit of the smart Alec.
I personally went and saw the movie, and I thought it was great. I had some problems with it, but it looks like it got a 6.8 on IMDb out of 10.
Okay.
I can see why it didn't get much of a higher score than that. I don't really know that you could round that movie out, and I don't know if you guys have seen it. I don't want to ruin it for anybody who hasn't seen it.
No, I haven't seen it.
But it ends in a way that is acceptable, but
not very satisfying.
Exactly. Okay, you answered the question, and it's not. It's an answer, and I don't know that it was worth answering. I think my imagination was better than the actual answer itself.
Yeah. And some movies are like that too, where like they have these moments where it's like, oh, this could have been so good, and then it's like, never mind. This is this is terrible. I'm sure Gertrude has a sound effect somewhere in there. But like that's it's kind of sad that it wasn't really like, it's kind of, I'm sorry to hear that it didn't have that expected ending actually. But I mean, I guess movies are not for, that particular movie may not be for everybody and stuff, but it's annoying when they put so much effort into a film and then the film ends up just having a real like downer kind of a thing. That's really unfortunate that it was like that and stuff. So I mean,
Yeah.
Is it do you think it's a movie that people should still check out and watch anyway, or would you say maybe not?
Absolutely. No, absolutely. You need to watch it. It's the origin story complete for Aliens. If you liked Aliens, if you liked Alien vs. Predator, all that, you need to watch it because it answers the questions that you have. It may not be the answer that you wanted, but it's definitely worth watching.
Huh. Okay. Well, cool. Well, there you go. So if you guys want to go check out Alien Covenant, it's still in theaters, I think, right? Yeah, because you said it just came out, correct? Yep. Yeah, so you can go go check that out. So we're gonna go ahead and segue into another movie.
Another movie.
One of my.
Do what you want, cause a pirate is free. You are a pirate. You're a pirate. Being a pirate is a fantasy. Do what you want, cause a pirate is free. You are a pirate.
Yes, we are going to be talking about the newest Pirates of the Caribbean movie, which, interestingly enough, it's said that it was actually almost stolen. Disney CEO Bob Igor says hacker threat over stolen movie was a hoax. At least that's what they're hoping.
Yeah, so I wanted to talk about this a little bit, and Gertrude, you totally stole my story. That was very good. Oh, you were a pirate. Oh, I just realized that. You pirated my stories. Oh, snap.
Oh, good. It looks like they had a threat of the hack of the movie being stolen. Then we decided to take it seriously, but not react in the manner in which the person who was threatening us had required. They didn't really believe it was actually happening and real.
Mm-hmm.
And looks like, according to the Deadline report from May 15th, hackers demanded a Bitcoin loot, or would release the film online before its May 26th.
Yes. Yeah, and I'm gonna pirate this back from you because I actually was looking at, so I was doing some research. So my mom told me about this about, I don't know, like a couple days ago, and she was like, yeah, I heard that the new Pirates film was almost stolen, and this is, blah 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 blah. The Chinese got a hold of it, all this kind of stuff, and I was like, really? So I got on my phone and I started looking up the article. Now, I did come across, and I can't confirm this, but I did come across a source that said that the Chinese, it's either Chinese or Japanese market, and Gertrude, I'm assuming you're looking this up while I'm talking about this, that they were trying to get a hold of the film because the film industry in, again, China or Japan, one of the two, has been suffering. And they wanted to actually release the film ahead of schedule from its actual release date. Now, whether or not that's true, I don't know, but I did notice that they actually did a red carpet premiere of the Pirates film. I believe it was in China. Gertrude, do you have anything to confirm this, or am I just speculating again?
Red carpet premiere in China?
Yeah, that might be what it was. I don't remember. I think I found it something like that.
Okay, it looks like Disney Pirates. Let me just verify it. Rolls out red carpet for rare China premiere.
That's what it was. Yeah, that was something. It was something like that, definitely. Yeah. I don't know. Again, I have no idea if that was actually the case or what the deal was. But that was something that was potentially one of the theories as to how the movie got. I'm gonna jokingly say pirated. Oh snap! So, but yeah, no, I haven't seen the new Pirates film. I've been seeing trailers. It looks so good. Like
I watched it yesterday.
I was like, oh yeah, this is. And what I liked is they actually picked up on Will Turner's son trying to free his father. And if you guys remember at the end of World's End, when Will Turner takes over the place of Davy Jones died, and then you see the scene with the sunset where Will comes back from the green flash at the end of the horizon and comes sailing in and stuff. And then this one is it looks like it picks up a little bit where that dropped off, and of course you have Jack Sparrow's in trouble again. When is he not? It looks like it looks good, but I've also heard that this is like the final Pirates film for it, because a lot of the actors are getting substantially older.
Yeah, it is the last Pirates movie, definitely.
So I'm sort of saddened by this, honestly, that's a potential end of the series. But we've had what, 5, well, hopefully the 5th one's better, but at least 4 very good movies, very well done. Jerry Bruckheimer is an absolute genius with his directing and a lot of the actors and actresses, their skillties in acting, very, very good, very, very impressive. I love watching. My favorite actually is the 3rd one, surprisingly, which is actually I think the last one. Wait, no, has there been 3 or 4? Is it 4 or 5? Actually, now that I think about it,
I think this is the 5th one.
It is? Okay. Well, anyway, at any rate, the one before this is my favorite. It just has a good mix of like everything in it that's just like, oh, this is totally cool and stuff. So, Gershon, did you find anything to confirm our stories, or are we just going to go ahead and just segue out of this?
Well, let me take a quick look.
You're trying to research and development, man, kind of a little bit.
Looks like there have been a total of 5.
5 articles about this?
Well, 5 Pirate of the Caribbean movies.
Oh, okay. So you're researching that. Okay, I see how it is. Nice. So, well, anyway, yeah. Either way, whether by totally actually hacking it or totally actually not, either way, that's a thing. So we're going to go ahead and transition over to our second to last articles, and I think I handed this off to Ethic. So if you want to go ahead and talk about that would be absolutely amazing.
Yeah, so Twitch Unity, that was May 26th. And Twitch Unity was a celebration on Twitch I think I interpreted it as attempting to bring everybody together, make everybody welcome on Twitch. Doesn't matter what you do, who you are, what kind of lifestyle you live, doesn't matter. The idea being that this is a place of welcome and not judgment.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, sorry. I didn't know if you were.
Go ahead.
Yeah, I saw. Now, we actually talked about this a little bit before the show, and I actually didn't hear about it. And actually, they were celebrating with a special shirt, which honestly, okay, this shirt is kind of cool. I feel like they could have done a little bit more with the shirt design, honestly speaking. But I heard about this, and I actually didn't know about it until like after the fact, and I was like, well, how am I supposed to like celebrate this, because I'm kind of like confused as to what's going on or what I'm supposed to be doing for this. How do you celebrate?
Epic fail.
Exactly. So I wasn't really sure how to celebrate all of this, but
I had the same problem.
Yeah, because it was just kind of like wait a minute, like what's going on here, like what is this and stuff. But yeah, so I guess to maybe talk about a little bit about, I guess, maybe what Twitch has sort of done for me, I guess. You know, I've met a lot of friends through Twitch, a lot of really awesome people, Ethic Meta being one of them. You know, and people like Oye and Kamink and Mr. B Falls and I'm trying to think about some other I think what's his name? I think he used to go by the name of Soul Merge. There were some other ones too, but I've met a lot of really cool people, and of course other friends I've met through other communities who were also gamers too. Some of them are now, of course, you know, my Twitch mods, Hunter being one of them actually. Hi Hunter, by the way. He's in the UK, but you know, just a lot of really cool people I've met, and I've made a lot of really good friends that I can definitely say are good friends of mine and stuff. You know, my Twitch community has been absolutely amazing, and some of them are able to come out consistently and talk and hang out, participate in the games that I play and stuff, suggesting the games that I play, sometimes giving me feedback about stuff, and honestly, you know, Twitch lets me do what I love, like all of like this with like the camera, the microphone, all this kind of stuff. I mean, this is what I love. I love the video production. I love the live aspect of it. You know, I love the amount of effort that I have to put into a lot of this stuff. So it's great. I love doing this. It's really fun. I can do it all from the comfort of my home, which is great. And you know. So I mean, I know Gertron used to stream. I guess you kind of gave it up, didn't you?
Yeah, I've never really been a big streamer, but who knows?
Who knows? You might return to Twitch. Ethic, I mean, for you, any thoughts about like just Twitch or anything, you know, like that?
Yeah, Twitch is a huge personal growth thing for me. I'm extremely introvert, and this is definitely bringing me out of my shell. I don't know. It gives me something to focus on. Talking to people or just talking to an empty room. A lot of the time that's how it goes, and it helps a lot. I've grown a lot in the last 2 months, maybe month. It's only been a month and a half.
Yeah, definitely.
I feel like I've definitely improved my ability to speak, not just to myself and out loud, but to strangers, which is a huge difference from where I was before I started streaming.
Oh yeah, I can definitely attest to that myself, actually. When I was doing you know, like, okay, so I'm a little bit introverted myself, actually, which is kind of funny because it doesn't really necessarily show, I don't think, on Twitch as much as maybe it does in real life so much. But I love that I've gotten used to sort of speaking on the internet. Now, granted, I have the occasional blank thoughts and stuff, but I think it kind of has to force me to think about how to speak, how to articulate. I'm actually dyslexic, so it's really even better for me to learn how to talk on the internet, how to get things together. I mean, last night, Gertrude and I were getting us all together. We were running through the show, and I was like, man, I'm really organized. This is cool. This is reassuring for me as just as a person that I'm able to get this together and stuff. So, you know, a lot of people, it's funny, you tell people what you do on the internet, on Twitch, and they look at you and you're like, huh? Like, really? You know, and some people are like, oh, there's no money to be made from Twitch, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, well, there is. You're an entertainer. You're an online, self-employed entertainer, you know? And entertainment is the new, you know, economy in a way. So that's kind of, you know, that's basically how I look at it, you know, and reaching people and touching lives, and it's great. It's very, very cool.
And Grid just got a shout out.
I saw that. Yes, thank you, Hunter. I appreciate that. By the way,
Hunter says you're a good streamer and you sound confident.
I never know, but thank you. I appreciate that. So all right, we're gonna I do have a topic subject to bring us out of it. I do want to talk about this. And Gertrude, could you actually? I kind of, this feels so awkward. I go from a happy subject to somewhat kind of sad subject. But being also Hunter being from the UK, I'm sure would appreciate this shout out. Even I don't know how close it was situation, but could you, Bertrand, please pick up this story if you would?
All right, so this is concerning the Manchester bombing that occurred on May 22nd around 10:30 p.m.
Yeah.
Ariana Grande, who was a singer, was giving a 22-song concert with an encore of Dangerous Woman. And a bomb went off outside on the outside foyer of the venue near the main exit, and there was a lot of people that died. It looks like it claimed the lives of 22 concert goers, and it sent 59 others to the hospital, making it the deadliest such attack in the country since 2005. Now, what's sad about this is this was definitely a terrorist attack, and because the Islamic State has since claimed responsibility for the attack, according to the New York Times. Salman Ramadan Abedi, probably brutalizing the name there, a 22-year-old British man of Libyan descent, has been identified as the Manchester Arena bomber. Abedi lived 3.5 miles away from the venue. And of course, the police had arrested some other people that they suspected and that were in connection with the attack.
Yeah.
And I don't think they verified any of those, but we do know that it was an Islamic State, it was a Muslim terrorist attack.
Right.
Which is horrible.
Absolutely.
But on the
There's a positive note to this.
There is a positive note. The Ariana Grande plans a Manchester benefit concert to aid blast victims, and I quote from her, "I'll be returning to the incredibly brave city of Manchester to spend time with my fans and to have a benefit concert in honor of and to raise money for the victims and their families." And she wrote that Friday, adding that she would release details once plans have been confirmed. So they don't know when she'll be doing that, but she does say she will be doing that. And from what I understand, this concert was supposed to be a time of peace and unity, getting people together, and it's horrible what's going on in the world today, where you can't even go to a concert and just relax and not worry that a bomb's going to be going off.
Yeah, I want to say that from all of us at the Morning Metro, our hearts and our love and our prayers definitely go out to anybody who was affected by this. You're not alone. We in the U.S. definitely support you. We love you guys so much. The UK is one of the United States' closest allies and stuff, and I'm really, really saddened, legitly, very, very saddened to hear about this. And I pray for the families that were affected by this situation. I'm very, I would definitely commend, Ariana Grande for being so sweet for doing this concert to benefit the victims and stuff and the people affected. That is just absolutely, that's beautiful. That is so sweet of you. And I'm sure the British people really, everybody in Manchester, I'm sure definitely appreciates the willingness and the consideration to help and just be there. That's very, very cool. And it's also kind of a cool way of we're not gonna, it's almost like always saying, we're not gonna let this get us down. We're gonna we're gonna do this again, and we're gonna come together and all that kind of stuff. So I think that is very, very awesome. I see there's a bit of a comment here. This is from Hunter, who actually is from the UK. It says, my mother last week was walking down the main street of my town, and there was about 50 armed police. It was pretty scary. They had a full, oh my gosh, wow.
Full machine guns. Wow.
Oh my gosh, wow. Dude, be safe, man. Definitely be safe. But
they ain't messing around.
Hey, but it's something that I've been seeing consistently with with not just Manchester, but just the people that are in those areas, how much everybody is banding together and coming together and stuff. And I think that's just very, definitely very cool that the human spirit can bring people together and say, hey, you're not alone. So definitely very cool, very sad. Your thoughts and prayers are with us and this week and honestly just as a whole. So unfortunately, life kind of happens. So so we're gonna go ahead and so there's an article for this. I wanna end the show on sort of just a general discussion. So while I was putting the show together, everybody hates autoplay ads, autoplay videos. I mean, it is just as annoying as heck. So one of the articles I was I got, I wish I remember which one it was, but I think it was from one of the Fox News websites or something like that. And so I usually mute tabs and I usually pause videos thinking that, okay, that's the end of the video or the ad or whatever. Mm-hmm. But no. One night I had an article open and I was like, I'll pause the video and I'll mute the tab. I come back to my office space the next morning to find that the video decided to keep autoplaying. And the thing is that now I usually turn down my my system monitors because I do mixing and everything in this room too. So I always turn down my computer speakers so that even if something autoplays or if a Steam notification goes off, nobody hears it. But I was just like so annoyed. I was like, dang nabbit, nobody's there to watch it and you're still playing videos or like autoplay like ads, full page ads. I mean, where does it end? Guys, do you feel me here?
Yeah, I hate it when I go to a website and immediately it starts playing videos in the backgrounds, or even nowadays, some websites you go to, even if you scroll past the video stays with you, and you're just like, I don't care about the video.
Yeah,
I want to read the article.
Yeah, definitely. Ethic, I mean, thoughts on this at all? Have you ever had the annoyance with that?
Yeah, actually, literally just now, I was looking up how we could perhaps suggest turning off the auto feature, and I found an article talking about plugins for it, and the freaking article had an autoplay video.
Oh man, insult to injury. I mean, and here's the thing, like, now I'll admit, yes, I use an ad block, and it's not because I don't want to support the person that's made the content. I want to support you wholeheartedly. But what becomes frustrating is that we are so bombarded with ads. Like, there are annoying ads on TV. There's this annoying ad for this thing supposed to help you stop snoring. And they're like, everybody hates snoring. Your partner hates snoring. Your babies hate snoring. It keeps everybody awake. Everybody stop snoring. Blah blah blah. And I'm like, dude, don't shout. I have eardrums, okay? And I will, when I'm watching TV with my parents, I will mute the commercials because I am so tired of the constant advertising, and some of the ads are just really inappropriate, like should not be talked about on TV. Like, I'm sure you guys have seen those television ads, or it's frustrating. And I see there's a comment here in chat. My teacher does that in school. A video would finish and she would minimize the browser and we could hear a video playing about food in the background while we were trying to work. Oh my gosh. So I mean, what are the different ways that you guys like combat ads and stuff? How do you guys handle some of that stuff out of curiosity?
I have not only AdBlock Plus, but I have AdBlock. I have Pop-up Blocker for Chrome, and I have a Script Blocker, which basically takes care of mostly everything, at least all the annoying stuff. Ad stuff. But it doesn't stop when you go to Fox News and you're wanting to read the article and it automatically plays a video.
And some websites I've noticed are like more invasive than others. Ethic, you jumped in here really quick. I want to acknowledge what did you want to say?
Yeah, I use ad block, but outside of the annoying portion of advertisements, it's actually a security issue. A lot of the websites, especially the one that I found, they don't actually host the ads themselves. They go through ad services who contract with companies. And the problem with that is the links that they're placing on these web pages are sometimes malicious. It's sometimes actually server side.
Okay.
Cross-site scripting.
Mm-hmm.
It's just not a good idea. I actually whitelist Twitch and YouTube ads, and those are the only ones that I care to see. Everything else, these banner ads and I don't know, just basically that's essentially it. Is banner ads and different sized JavaScript ads are just not good. They're not safe.
No,
they're not enjoyable to look at. They're most of the time ignored.
They're annoying.
I've actually noticed, I used to play on miniclips.com a lot as a kid. And that was like basically that's actually how I got into gaming, surprisingly enough, was playing like, little mini games and stuff. And I remember as a kid that there were a lot of ads on those sites, because the thing is that site was, it had a bunch of developers with all kinds of like indie developers on that site, and that's still around to this day too, I think. But it had a lot of indie developers, and so the developers have to get the ads and stuff. But yeah, I didn't think about that, the security risk. That's because if they're not using like an SSL or
well, even then, a lot of the computers that come into the place where I work at, when they get malware, they'll say, "Oh yeah, there was this link on this website that said my computer had an issue to it."
Oh wow!
And like I can't tell you how many times I see people downloading driver updaters that automatically search the computer and find updates for drivers. Most of those are bad. If you need to update your driver, if it's an Intel driver, you go to Intel. If it's a Dell driver, you go to Dell. You don't just download a driver from some random website.
Yeah,
it'll
definitely
ruin your computer.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, that's. Oh gosh,
it looks like Mirage Leonard 84 asks a question here. What are 7 things?
We want to
very
see
specific that you would like to see at E3 2017 this year.
Okay, that's okay. I wouldn't mind talking about that actually, because we still have a little bit. We got about like 10 minutes or so of the show. Okay, so I would like to see, first of all, Shadow of the Tomb Raider. That was actually it's been all over the TombRaider.com forums as like there was like a leaked image, so quote unquote. Although I think it was actually intentional, honestly. Oh, nice. That's from Tomb Raider Anniversary, actually, and a couple of the other Tomb Raider games. I want to see that. I'd like to actually... So, I was playing Recore from the Windows Store. I was telling my dad about this morning. I was playing Recore, and I saw the trailers for it, and I actually played a 30-minute demo. That game would have made a better movie than video game, honestly. I would like to see Recore, maybe like Recore 2, maybe. That'd be pretty sweet. Oh gosh, I got like 3 other things. I want to see
more on the new Battlefront game.
Yes, Battlefront 2017, definitely.
Yes. I want to see a new IP. Tired of all these sequels and remakes. We need something new.
Well, nobody's gonna come out with anything new anytime soon. So
yeah,
unfortunately, they're milking all the old stuff like crazy.
Yeah, I was in I was in the middle of an Instagram discussion last night, and somebody was saying like they felt like that the Tomb Raider series should have ended when I think Laura died in like one of the older Tomb Raider ones that I never played, honestly. But I was like, well, if that were true, then I wouldn't have discovered Tomb Raider, and it's kind of been one of those favorite things in my life as far as fandoms and stuff goes. And they're like, we can agree to disagree. I'm like, okay, fine, cool by me. But
Final Fantasy, anybody?
Maybe, yeah. I don't know what Hunter says. Isn't there going to be a MW2 remastered? What's MW2?
Modern Warfare 2.
Oh,
I hope not.
Oh my gosh! If they
just die.
I mean, like, that's the thing. Like, you look at companies that develop this stuff, and they keep
they're looking into it. It's possible.
Okay, Mirage Leonard 87 said a new game from Capcom such as how do you pronounce it? Okami 2, Devil May Cry 5, or Amnesia. How do you pronounce? Is it Amnesia? Am I pronouncing that right?
Somebody likes anime
Amnesia.
too much.
Okay, Amnesia 5, or actual All of Us 2 gameplay, Spyro HD Collection, Jak 4 announcement from Naughty Dog, and A Legend of Dragon HD remaster. I never even heard of most of these, to be honest. And Elder Scrolls 6.
Well,
That's not Amnesia. That's Onimusha.
Onimusha, thank you. I'm so sorry about that. I don't watch anime that often. I'm sorry. I probably butchered most of those names, but I don't know. Well, I'd love to see. I mean, we're going to talk about E3 once, on the show, once it actually once it actually happens and everything. We'll definitely be talking about that and see what some of the games are and stuff. So, but yeah,
a lot of those are old games.
Oh yeah, definitely. I don't know, like, is it just that, do they remaster stuff because they can't think of anything new, and so they're just like, hey, let's refresh some of this stuff? I mean,
yeah, that's probably the case, and it's an easy moneymaker when you look at it. If you already know that people like the games, then you already know there's going to be a following, regardless if you make a reboot of it, because you're gonna have people who are just gonna buy it because, hey, they played it when they're younger, and they just want to go for it. And then of course you have your newbies who will be like, it looks interesting, and they'll get it. So
I like to see a new Sonic game come out. There was what we talked about, a potential Sonic game that I don't know. I don't know if it was for console or for PC, but I like to see one for PC. Definitely, there hasn't been a Sonic game on Windows in a long time, and I'd also like to see a new Star Fox game too, because Star Fox could, it'd be cool to bring Star Fox a little bit into the 21st century. The last Star Fox that I played was Star Fox Command, which was a turn-based game for DS Lite. It wasn't that great, honestly. I actually been using an emulator and playing Star Fox Adventure, and I'd like to try to find one for Star Fox Assault and play that as well. But I think it was talked about they wanted to bring Star Fox to the Nintendo Switch, I think, or something like that.
That'd be great. So
yeah, I'm trying to save up for Nintendo Switch. It's just taking a very long time. So
looks like Hunter G's. He's a fan of Elder Scrolls, which is, I think that is part of the whole Skyrim genre.
It is, yeah. And also he wanted to start playing some of the Legend of Zelda stuff too. So, but that brings us to the end of our show. Ethic Meta, thank you so much for participating and being a guest on our show. We would love to have you back again sometime if you're interested. And of course, Gertrude, yeah, absolutely. And of course, Gertrude, thanks for obviously being, I know you're a host of the show, but thanks for being here anyway. So, Okay. All right. Well, thank you guys so much for watching. I'll be back for my usual streaming at 7:30 EST Tuesday through Friday and stuff like that. If you guys want to check that out. And I wasn't gonna announce this until Tuesday, but you guys might notice that I can actually accept bits on Twitch now. So finally got that set up. That's all out of the way, which is awesome. So I'm happy about that. That'll be interesting this week to see how that turns out. So, but yeah, thank you guys so much. And until then, we will catch you next Monday. Happy Memorial Day and have a great week.